I didn't see you there. Welcome to this first official episode of Nelson's Game Review. Yeah, I'm probably going to cancel that name. It is Christmas night by the time I'm recording this, and by the time I release this video, it's probably going to be 2 days past Christmas. Anyway, despite it being Christmas Day, I'm ironically not going to talk about any video games Christmas related. So if I'm not talking about any Christmas related games, what games am I going to talk about today? Well, here's a good one. Dope. The Frogger electronic gaming thing. Released in 1982 by the company Sega and also by Coleco, the official Frogger LED electronics game is a nice take on the video game known as Frogger using new for the time LED technology. But alas, not all video games are perfect, so there is going to be something that may irritate the player or make them a little bit mad and question what they were thinking. Alright, without further ado, let's check out the official Frogger LED electronics game by Sega. That's a really long name. Gameplay-wise, the Frogger machine looks pretty simple. You play as a frog. That's very expected. And you have to make your way through the street and the road and through the lake. Skill 1 is pretty simple. Like I said, just make your way through the street, road, and lake, and then make it to one of these little boxes that are up here. You have 3 lives, and if you lose all 3 lives, it's game over. There is also a small little timer you can see down here, and if you don't get to all the boxes by the time the timer runs out, then of course it's also a game over. Skill 2 is pretty much the same as Skill 1, except there is a snake character that roams around in this area. There's also more boxes over here you have to get to in Skill 2. Really, Frogger in this version doesn't really have an end. You can pretty much be playing forever and never really be considered a win. Frogger does not end in this version. And also, irritating thing I found out was the score does not, track your high scores. And I found that very irritating at some parts where I would make it to a level and then I would try to show all my friends. However, they didn't track the high score, so I couldn't prove it to them. The only way to keep track of your high scores in this game is to write them down or memorize them. Other than that, Frogger is pretty simple. Oh, and one more thing. Another irritating thing I found out about this game very quickly is that these little turtles right here sometimes disappear for no exact reason, and it was very just weird sometimes when I would hop on these turtles to get to the end, and they would just disappear in thin air, and the game would act like I fell into the lake, when I didn't, and that I landed on turtles. But other than that, like I said, just simple. Now that we're done talking about the gameplay, let's talk about the all-in-all design of the Frogger electronic. I'm sorry, I keep having to look at the machine to actually understand what it says, because the name is so long. I'm just going to call it Frogger, whatever. So anyway, let's talk about the all-in-all design about this Frogger machine. Like all good games, it has, of course, a joystick and a button. However, this button is not a jump button, it's not really anything, it's a reset button, which I find kind of weird because usually in games, start buttons and reset buttons are usually in like some sort of different shape than like a circle. Take the Switch for example. Like the pause button is a plus. So this reset button being a circle is kind of hard to understand. When I first saw it, I thought it was a jump button, and I tried to use it in a game, and I pressed it, and then I read what it said, reset, and then I lost all my scores. That the game doesn't even keep track of. Other than the joystick and the reset button, there is also a little switch where you can move from the console being powered off, skill 1, which we just established in gameplay, and skill 2, which I also established in gameplay on a brief sentence. So, that's what I have to say about the Frogger Electronics game by Sega. I give this, I'll give this a 4 out of 5. It's a very nostalgic thing if you grew up with the time, and I didn't, but still, it still feels somewhat gameplay-like. Something I can relate to. I'm a retro kid, so this comes like once in a lifetime. I also give it a 4 out of 5 because it takes 4 batteries. So, it's fitting. Oh no. Well, this has been Nelson Game Review. See you in the next episode. Bye. And Merry late Christmas.